Today, I'm sharing Angela Mastrovito's heart-rendering video on her opinion of the recently released ruling of the Montana Supreme Court's denial of her appeal. There are numerous factual errors in the Supreme Court Justice's written opinion that Angela reviews in raw emotional detail.
Hello, my name is Angela Mastrovito. I'm Rebekah Barsotti's mom. I'm here to give my statement about the appeal, the decision of the appeal that was published by Montana Supreme Court Justices March 28, 2024. On May 4th, 2023, Judge Jason Marks basically threw out our case from the courts, denying our request for evidentiary hearings, a claim against the estate, and a request to review the assignment of personal representative to David Barsotti. Our position was that David was not interested in protecting and making decisions in Rebekah's best interest while she was alive. Therefore, why would he do so when she was dead? I would like to say that the statement is my opinion based on documentation that I have viewed and read that has been submitted to law enforcement, that is available in the court systems, and to my knowledge is available in Rebekah's case file, which remains open as a criminal investigation in the state of Montana in Mineral County. Page 2. The justices are of the opinion that I was informed prior to going to Montana that Rebekah's body would be found in spring of 2022. This opinion is false. On July 20th, 2021, late at night, I received a text from David Barsotti stating Rebekah was missing. On July 21st, 2021, Rebekah's brother, Antonio, contacted Missoula County because that's where her trailer was, and they did not have any record of a missing person report being filed. Tony then called Mineral County, and after much discussion and calls back and forth, Tony filed a missing person report on July 21, 2021. The first communication I had with any agent representing law enforcement was on July 23rd, 2021, and I was already in Missoula, Montana. After arrival, detectives Travis Wafstedt and Kellen Larson contacted me. At no point in time did we have a discussion of when the body would be found. On July 25th, 2021, my sister and myself met with Deputy Ryan Funk and Josie Clark at the riverbank of Alberton Climbing Rock. Ryan Funk informed us that his uncle had gone missing, and it was 40 years later that a skull was found. On August 3rd, 2021, our first meeting with Sheriff Mike Toth, he stated that a body would typically surface in 10 to 14 days. There was no mention of spring of 2022. What he did state in that meeting was that I was not even going to look for your daughter. Who do you think she is? The President of the United States? My question to you, the public, is that if a person representing the Sheriff's Department who took an oath to serve and protect said that to you, would you leave with the impression that they were going to do everything they could to search for your daughter? At the commissioners' meeting on November 26, 2021, Sheriff Toth stated that they would find the body in the spring of 2022. That was the first I'd heard. My question is this: how can you be so confident of that? That question actually played out later In March of 2022, Sheriff Toth informed my private investigator he knew where the body was. I informed Brad Smith with Wings of Hope, who was present in Mineral County for the entire month of March 2022. He and North Star Canine Search and Rescue had come out to do a third search for Rebekah in the Clark Fork River. Surprisingly, Sheriff Toth was not available to discuss that statement with Brad Smith. But if he knew the location of the body, maybe that was how he knew they would find the body in the spring of 2022. Paragraph 4, this is the most egregious statement. An attempt of Montana Supreme Court to rewrite history. And I quote, "Prior to Rebekah's disappearance, David Barsotti had been charged with and acquitted of personal family member assault that arose from an incident in which David allegedly threatened to blow off both Rebekah's hands." The statement to blow off both Rebekah's hands is true and accurate. That's recorded on a affidavit of probable cause, Rebekah's impact statement, victim impact statement. But the statement prior to Rebekah's disappearance, David Barsotti had been charged with and acquitted of personal family member assault, is inaccurate and false. Remember the dates. They're important. March 9th, 2021, a 911 call was made. David was removed from the home. March 10th, 2021, a PFMA charge was issued. July 20th, 2021, Rebekah went missing. David was acquitted March 25th, 2022, 7 months after Rebekah went missing. Remember the dates. Shame on the Montana Supreme Court for rewriting history and not validating the information in their public opinion. Page 3. During my tenure as guardian, I expended considerable time and resources in an effort to raise awareness for domestic violence. The truth is that the expenses were approximately $1,000. They occurred between August 2021 and April 2022. And the expenditure presented was labeled and cataloged as Vigil Awareness for Rebekah Missing. Each monthly vigil, we had flyers that we circulated with a picture of Rebekah on it as a missing person and the information about her physical appearance and who to contact. And yes, we did have posters that we walked with that had pictures of Rebekah and information about missing person and domestic violence. And it is a fact that when Rebekah went missing, she had been a victim of domestic violence and she was a missing person. We held the vigils because law enforcement was not promoting awareness that she was missing. They also were not releasing the information that there was an active PFMA charge against David and a history of domestic violence. In fact, the media outlets that did do coverage in the beginning of Rebekah missing all had a disclaimer that Mineral County did not think domestic violence had any connection, despite the history of domestic violence and the active charge that was in place. Paragraph 6, no action by myself contributed to the body being recovered. How dare they? My husband and I beat on K-Pax's door early one August morning before they were even open. And this was just right after COVID. Nobody was letting people in the buildings. They weren't answering phones. So we beat on the door until someone answered, so that someone would start letting the community know that there was a missing person. We made a plea for help from the community, and the community responded, and we are so grateful. Missoula County came on board, and they joined efforts with Kootenai and Flathead. They ruled out areas. So maybe the body wasn't recovered during that time, but they ruled out areas. When I received conservatorship and guardianship, I am the one who went to the dentist that Rebekah had seen for the past 2 years and requested dental records. Law enforcement didn't do that. I made certain that those dental records were available and that they were registered with NamUs. The last communication was in January of 2022, verifying that they had all the information they needed. Despite Sheriff Toth trying to blame me for a delay in identifying the body, stating I had withheld that information. I have dates of emails back and forth to show that they had the information they needed. The day the body was found, Ryan Funk affirmed that Missoula County had the dental records. He affirmed that in his conversation with me. You just invalidated everyone's search efforts. From the local agencies to the community to Tony, Rebekah's brother, coming out, and Sam and Mike Johnston literally searching the riverbanks inch by inch, in the low water areas inch by inch, I think for 24 miles. Mike Johnston said they had never done that before. All the river guides who kept an eye open all year and all season. The court, paragraph 8, the courts denied my request to my appointment is retroactively improper and the expenditures unreasonable. I didn't get an opportunity to review this with Judge Jason Marks. But what you consider unreasonable expenses actually incurred because of death threats. We received the first death threat on October 31st. We were told that the trailer we were living in was highly combustible and that we should proceed with caution. We filed a police report in Missoula City. It got transferred within days to Missoula County, and in less than 24 hours, it was transferred to Mineral County, where it sits, uninvestigated, just like Rebekah's case. November 29th, 2021, my attorney received a phone call stating that our home in Virginia was going to be burnt down. We had no safe place to go. We were blessed that some families took us in for short periods of time, but they became fearful because of everything that was going on with Rebekah's case. So out of consideration for their safety, we started going from Airbnb to Airbnb and hotel to hotel. That costs money. You're not in a position, you're not living in a home on a daily basis where you're cooking and you don't know how long you're going to be there. But I never had an opportunity to say those things to Judge Jason Marks because he denied it. All I have to say here is that I don't believe receiving death threats is a reasonable experience in a missing person case. In the state of Montana, a person is presumed dead until the body is found and determined. Paragraph 11. This did not happen in Rebekah's case. Apparently, everybody knew she was dead. Paragraph 13. The Montana Supreme Court justices are of the opinion that I did not act as necessary to promote and protect the well-being of the person, my daughter. I specifically came to Montana to be there when they found her, so that she would not have to go back to her abuser, so that she would have a trailer to stay in when she was found. How dare they? Paragraph 14 and 15 states that I had the opportunity to present my case to Judge Jason Marks. I have reviewed this with my attorney multiple times. There never was an opportunity to review any of this at the district court level. The summary here: the Montana Supreme Court justices upheld Judge Jason Marks' decision. Based on Julie Sir's briefs that were presented. But what they have done is they have contributed to silencing the voices of the most vulnerable in the state of Montana, victims of domestic violence and missing persons. I won't be silenced. I will continue to speak out on Rebekah's behalf. We hope to make positive changes in the state of Montana. If you are a victim of domestic violence, I ask that you seek assistance from your local organization. But I would really suggest getting the hell out of the state, because it's not been our experience that law enforcement or the judicial system will support you. Thank you for listening. Get involved at the local level. Make changes.
The discrepancies in the Montana Supreme Court justice's opinion misrepresents the sequence of events in Rebekah's case, states inaccurate details, and attacks Angela's intentions as a mom searching for her missing daughter. It calls into question the accuracy of the court's opinion. I'm sure we can all agree, the accurate representation of facts and the timeline is essential in ensuring the integrity of legal proceedings. Understandably, the opinion intensifies the family's concerns. The inaccuracies in the opinion have profound implications, particularly for victims of domestic violence and missing persons cases. Please take the time to read the Montana Supreme Court opinion and let us know your thoughts by leaving a comment. You can find the link to the opinion in the YouTube video details.